Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Naima Khan Ghani, and I'll be your host for today's program of Who's Who in America in Your Community. This segment brings to you individuals who are committed to serving in their community and have dedicated their lives to serving Allah. We introduce a wide cross-section of individuals who come from local, national, and international levels. We hope that they will serve as an inspiration and a motivation for you to get involved in your community. My guest today is Sarah Usman, who happens to be the president of the Muslim Student Association at FIU. Welcome to the program, Sarah. It's a pleasure to have you. Sarah is third year at FIU, and she's here to tell us about the role of M.S.A. at FIU and how we can get involved in the community. Sarah, tell me, how long have you been involved in Islamic work?
I've been involved in Islamic work since I was in 11th grade. That's when I started volunteering at my masjid and at IFSF. So since then.
And what have you been doing at the masjid? Is it teaching at the weekend schools?
I started as a teacher's assistant, and now I'm a teacher, a full-time, well, not a full-time teacher, but a 7th grade teacher there on the weekends. So, and I have my own assistant, and it's a great experience.
Oh, that's great. And what level do you teach?
7th.
7th grade. And what's your major? Is it education by chance?
No.
Okay.
It's actually accounting and finance, and I have a minor in political science.
That's great. So what motivated you to go to FIU?
What motivated me to go to FIU?
Yeah, why did you choose FIU? I mean, there's so many colleges in South Florida, and in Florida on the whole, even out of state. What motivated you to stay right here at home?
Well, that's just how I am. I wanted to stay at home. I didn't want to leave my family. I didn't want to leave my home. So, for me, the best school that, in my opinion, was FIU. Out of the 3 or 4 that are in South Florida, and my father actually went to FIU also, so I knew a lot more about it. And they have a really good business program. So it was just like an obvious choice for me.
So it stays within the family. I say, I have to support you on that one because I also am an alumni of FIU, so I'm going to be very biased in that one. Let's get back to M.S.A. Right. What motivated you to run for office? This is your first year as president of M.S.A. What motivated you to run for office as president of M.S.A.?
Well, I've always been interested in M.S.A. From before I started college. I was like, when I go to college, I'm going to join the M.S.A. and I'm going to get active. I think since I was a student in Islamic school since I was 4, just learning about everything and being an integral part of the masjid, it just developed an interest in me, and it carried over for my whole life. And as soon as I came to FIU, my first semester I was already on the e-board because they were looking for a position, and I ran. And since my freshman year, I've been on the e-board for M.S.A.
So ever since you started at FIU, you've been involved, even as a member, just getting involved in the executive level, and now you're the president.
Right.
So that's great. Has that helped you to grow and develop in any way? I mean,
oh, definitely.
What has the experience done for you as an individual?
It's taught me a lot. It's taught me how to deal with people.
I'm sure that's a big part of it, right?
Yes, it's because you have to deal with everyone's interests and everyone's concerns, and it really teaches you how to have patience and how to understand what everyone wants and how to give them as much as you can. So I learned to deal with people. I learned how to organize effectively. There's so much that's involved with planning events, and you don't realize that before when you actually start doing it. You have to get speakers, you have to get food, you have to find out how you're going to pay for everything, you have to market. You have to make sure that you meet all the requirements from the school. It's a very long process, and it really teaches you, because you take those skills when you go on after even college.
So you're taking it with you. It's lifelong learning experience that you're getting, actually. So did you do any of this stuff before you got onto being involved in M.S.A.? Did you have any background in this, or you just plunged into it?
Well, in high school, I was involved with my senior class, my junior class, National Honor Society. I was on the board for all of those things.
So you did have some kind of experience working with organizations, so that's great. So you did have the leadership skills. That's fantastic, and I'm glad, it's very important for us in our community, especially for Muslim women, the females, to realize, hey, look, I don't have to stay in the background. I can be very much in the forefront, and I can do a lot of work out there. Just being a female is not an excuse for me not to get things done, because unfortunately that is the effect that it has, the response that we have from a lot of our Muslim sisters, especially when they go to college. They sort of stay in the background, they don't want to be heard. And it's inspiring to know that you left from high school and you're taking that with you when you go to college.
Right.
Have you been able to inspire? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, our e-board is actually mostly females.
Women. I'm not surprised.
So I really do think that females are taking a very big step forward now.
So what are you doing to get the males involved? What are the brothers doing? Why are they so dominant on campus?
I'm not sure exactly. I always wonder that myself. We do try to get them involved, and they do. They take care of the Jummah prayer. Like, that's all on them. all the physical labor, we try to get them to help, but for some reason they don't want to take an executive
The leadership
role.
roles.
They don't.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's interesting. Well, on that point, we're going to be taking a short break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Toyota of Hollywood. No matter what your new car needs are, it's our goal to make every step of your ownership experience as easy as possible. Let our professional, trained sales staff help you find the right car at the right price. Discover an easy ownership experience at Toyota of Hollywood today. We're conveniently located at 1841 North 60th Avenue in Hollywood, Florida.
Will you like to have your events broadcasted live? Contact Al-Hikmat Productions, a full-service video production for Islamic functions, weddings, seminars, etc. For more details, contact Al-Hikmat office 1-800-804-0267. That's 1-800-804-0267. Eat healthy, eat halal at Ashraf's Halal Meat Center for all your East and West Indian grocery for genuine halal USDA meat. Stop in or call in your orders at 305-654-0195. That's 305-654-0195.
Are you tired of calling cards? Are you fed up of those long PIN numbers? Then use Sensible, international direct calling for cents only. For more details, contact the Al-Hikmat office at 954-986-0158. That's 954-986-0158.
M.S.A Caribbean Market, East and West Indian grocery for all your halal meats, fish, and vegetables. Call to place your order at 954-961-6160. That's 954-961-6160.
Are you a student seeking scholarship or financial aid to study Islam? Contact Al-Hikmat Services at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158. That's 954-986-0158. We also have locations in Jamaica and Trinidad, West Indies.
If you would like to advertise your business on Al-Hikmat TV online 24/7, Al-Hikmat website, and Al-Hikmat Monthly Muslim Magazine, please contact the Al-Hikmat office at 954-986-0158. That's 954-986-0158.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Who's Who in the Community and in America. My guest today, if you're now joining me, is Sarah Usman, who is the president of the Muslim Student Association at Florida International University. We're talking about Sarah's background and her involvement in community work, and she shared with us that most of our skills stem from high school. So Sarah, it's very important for our students out there to start getting involved even at the high school level.
Oh, definitely.
And that will, they can take that to even to college.
Right.
So what are some of the things that you can have for kids who are still in high school, some advice for them?
Some advice for them would be to get involved in all the clubs that they possibly can, attend the meetings, network with their fellow students, because I think that when you go to college, there's no time, in my opinion, to develop. It's better for you to be developed when you start college, because there's so much to worry about. There's all this pressure for college, your stress for working in your major, meeting people, making sure you get everything done for what you want to do in the future. So it's very stressful because it's a new environment for you, and I think that the development in high school is a lot easier because it's smaller and it's more exclusive. So there's more attention on you, and there's more opportunities for you to get involved. When you go to like FIU has 40,000 students.
Right.
When you go to a school with 40,000 students, it's not easy to shine. It's not easy to get positions and things and be able to really get that valuable experience. So I do think that you should join all the clubs that you can in high school. It's not hard. There's NHS. There's your class. Whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, you join your class. There's math clubs, there's science clubs, there's so many, and they're all a lot of fun, and the kids enjoy them a lot. It's just very unfortunate that many students, they don't realize how much of a great opportunity it is, so they don't care.
That's really good advice, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it's good for our students to realize that high school is a stepping stone for them to get into the real world. When they get into college, it's a whole different era and a whole different ballgame altogether. So getting exposed at that smaller level, on that local, they can be able to sort of shine when they get into high school. So that's really good advice for our teenagers. Now, I also noticed that you said prior that most of the people who are involved in M.S.A. are women. Do you see, even at the high school level and both at the college level, that it is a form of giving dawah, spreading to our community out there, hey, this is Islam, this is what it means to be a Muslim, and sharing with people the opportunity when they get involved, even at the high school level, getting involved in the clubs? Do you see it as giving dawah?
Yeah, definitely, because just showing that our involvement is showing that we care about our community. And that shows, unfortunately, the image that we have these days, as Muslims, that we're, extremists, we don't care about anything, we're just here for our own ulterior motives.
Right, they think as being selfish, right? They have this myth,
So when they see us doing community activities, for example, Project Downtown and things like that, then just by being a good citizen and performing our civic duties, I feel like that in itself is a form of dawah.
That is fantastic. Now let's get into M.S.A. How long has M.S.A. been in existence at FIU? I mean, if you can go so far back, I'm sure you might not be able to trace it all the way back.
It was revived in 1993, so it's been a while, and every year it's been getting better and better, alhamdulillah. So
that's growing. I know FIU itself is growing
to
a very large,
by far.
It's probably one of the largest or fastest growing universities we have here in Florida. So that's great. Now, what is the purpose of M.S.A.? I know it stands for Muslim Student Association, but what is the purpose of M.S.A.?
It has two purposes. It serves for Muslims, and has purposes for Muslims and has purposes for non-Muslims. The purpose for Muslims, our Muslim brothers and sisters, is to provide networking for fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, provide Jummah prayers, provide iftars, so that they can feel at home when they come to school. Because I know that when college students, they spend such a long time out on campus. I know personally, I spend almost 10 to 12 hours each day on campus. So for us to provide all these things for the Muslim brothers and sisters, it really helps them out, and doesn't give them stress for their college experience. Like, I know we have students that pray in the middle of bookshelves. Students who they would come and they would run back home to break iftar, or run back home for tarawih prayer, because they couldn't. It was too much for them. There was nothing offered.
Right, and they felt alone because there's nobody else,
and they didn't know anybody. So I think because of M.S.A., they're able to stay at school. For example, I'm giving the example of Ramadan. They can break iftar with their peers, pray Maghrib, and then all together, the boys, a lot of the brothers, they go for tarawih prayer together. So it provides a sense of belonging also, and they don't have to worry about choosing between their religion and their school. I think that's a very big part. And the other purpose for non-Muslims is to spread awareness, because of course after 9/11 we have such a bad image, and at the college level, I think that is the best part of some of the students' lives, to be able to understand religion, and that's when they're also very confused about their spirit. I'm talking about
they're not finding themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, the college is a whole different realm.
Right, it's a very
altogether.
critical part.
Yeah.
There's so many. We've had so many reverts at our school that have accepted Islam just by coming to M.S.A. events.
Really?
Yes. So it's it feels really good for us to feel that we're making a difference, and it shows us that what we're doing is important, and for us to keep doing it, because we get so many emails from other organizations on campus that ask us to participate and help in interfaith activities and things like that. And M.S.A. is very well known on campus. Usually we would think that M.S.A. Muslims wouldn't have that much influence on campus, but that's not the case at FIU. We've had a Christian club approach us for an interfaith activity, so we went there and we spoke about Islam, and everyone was very impressed, and we got so many questions, and so it has a double purpose, I think.
That is really fantastic, and I think that's the purposes of a lot of the MSAs around the country, where they can able to bring everyone together and create that sense of belonging. Because I know we have a lot of international students there, and most of these colleges and campuses, and FIU is none the different. So I'm sure that by doing some of these activities, you're able to create that sense of belonging for the international students who are here alone, their family, in other countries, and by creating that, you're able to give them a home away from home.
Yes, definitely. That is one of our main purposes.
And that's a warm feeling. That's really refreshing to know that, at least for the students, from a student point of view, that there are other people out there who care. You mentioned some getting involved with other organizations on campus, and from what you're saying, it sounds like the reception has been very positive. What future plans do you have in terms of getting involved with the non-Muslim community at FIU?
Well, our future plans to get involved with them is just to involve ourselves in more interfaith dialogue, do more community events in junction with them together. So if We go to Project Downtown. We invite them to come with us also.
So they've been receptive and they've been participating.
Yes,
we've accepted the invitations.
Yes, actually, the medical fraternity, the academic fraternity that we have at FIU, they go to Project Downtown once a month.
With you guys?
They're not with us.
On their own?
Not with us, but someone told them about it, and they got very interested, so they started going and supporting Project Downtown. So it's just a way of for us. All we have to do is spread more awareness about the activities that we do, and everyone will get involved, and our name will look much better.
Right, you initiate something, and then they
follow.
And it's good, at that level, for them to realize, hey, look, we're open, we're receptive to being tolerant to different points of view. You can agree to disagree, as the famous saying goes.
Right.
So that's I'm really impressed that M.S.A. has been able to do that and sort of cross those barriers. What is the cross-section of students that you have attending M.S.A.? Because I know normally, even in the masajids, the ethnic groups tend to stay together.
Right. Do
you have that same sort of feeling on campus?
We don't have that feeling, but we do have a obvious majority. But
right.
It's still very diverse. Our majority is Southeast Asian, for the most part. But we have different ethnicities. We have Arabs, we have African Americans, we have even Hispanic, we have a great amount of non-Muslims that also come to all of our events. So it's very, very diverse. Of course, there's a majority, but that nobody even realizes that or even gives that any importance.
It's not obvious and say, okay, that's a hindrance for,
it's not going to stop
things.
someone. Yeah,
that's good. So even the other ethnic groups, they come together and they feel that there's still a sense of belonging, no matter, even though they may be one dominant group, but they still feel a sense of belonging.
Yes, we make sure that everyone.
And that's important. That's important that you try to do that and let everyone know, regardless of your color or your background or the language that you speak. Hey, we're all Muslims and we come together and uniting on the one. That's fantastic. Now tell us a little bit about some of the activities. I know there's probably a long list of activities that you've had on campus. Just give us the highlights of some of the things that you've done.
Well, one of the continuous things that we do is Jummah prayer every Friday. We book a room every Friday, and we have about 75 people in total, I think, around that come to Jummah prayer.
I remember my days you had 10 and 15. That was a lot to get 20 people.
The room gets packed.
Okay.
So the girls that come, they have to squeeze back as much as they can so the brothers can have enough space. But we find someone to give the khutbah every Friday. We have a calendar that we made. So every Friday we assign someone to give the khutbah. And
is it the students, or do you have guest speakers coming in?
We had a guest speaker a few times, but it's mostly students. But they're elder students that are maybe professors or that are very knowledgeable, those students. We've even had younger students, even freshmen and sophomores.
And it's a good training ground
for
the
and it makes them feel very good too that they're giving a khutbah to their fellow peers. So, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun for us to hear a khutbah too from people that we know personally, and because they can relate to us, and it's really nice. I love going for Jummah prayer on Fridays, even if I don't have to be at school or
you want to be there for Jummah.
I just stay for exactly.
Oh, that's good. Now tell us a little bit more of some of the other things that you've done.
All right. In Ramadan, we have iftars, free iftars. We provide Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday each week during Ramadan, and we have a wonderful turnout to those. We have
let me just ask you, is that sponsored by the community or the students fund that themselves?
It's sponsored by anyone, pretty much. What we do is before Ramadan, during the summer, before school starts, we contact people, we make a calendar to see who wants to sponsor an iftar. So we have students, we have families, we have masjids, we have, it's a very random assortment of people that would like to sponsor. So we just find sponsors, and that's how we...
So there's a lot of planning even before, ahead of time to get this
for Ramadan, our planning is done before. And if we don't have a sponsor for one day, then M.S.A.
sponsors it. Do you get funding from college?
We do, but it's never enough for us to fund the entire year. It's never enough to fund the entire year, so we do rely on donations.
Okay, that's good. So you have the iftar program every Ramadan, and I think last year you mentioned there was a Fast-a-thon when we were talking earlier.
I can't believe I forgot that.
I think that's a major event that you guys have.
That is the largest event of the year, by far. We had 300 people, or 250 to 300 people attend. And Fast-a-thon, basically, for those that don't know, is when we allow non-Muslims to keep a fast for the entire day, one day.
The non-Muslims
have to fast, right.
So how do you get that word out there for the non-Muslims to be a part of that?
Flyers, emails. I ask the council representative organization at our school to send out mass messages to all the organizations in the school. And, also, even if we don't do all that marketing, it's pretty well known, Fast-a-thon. Everyone knows about it.
It's popular. It's
very popular amongst the non-Muslims.
So the non-Muslims fast for the day.
They do. They keep a fast. They have to sign a pledge form that says that they will not blame us for anything wrong, and
health reasons.
They agree to fast the entire day. And for every non-Muslim that keeps a fast, we get $1 from a charity. It's usually $1. It depends on how many charities that we find. or how many, or some sponsors that we find.
Sponsors,
Sorry.
right? Okay.
And then we choose a charity, and all the money that we get from the non-Muslims fast goes to that charity. So the Ramadan just passed, our Fast-a-thon, we donated our money to the Pakistan flood victims, and we raised a few $100s. It was really nice, and everyone, we showed a video about the flood, where our money, which charity our money was going to, and everyone was very proud that they fasted and they were able to help these people out. And we had a lecture at the actual dinner, because after you fast, you have a dinner. We give them a dinner when they break their fast.
So you have the Muslims and the non-Muslims come
Everybody
together
comes
and they break their
together.
fast
Yes.
together.
They break their fast together with the date and small fruits, and then they pray, and then the non-Muslims watch, and then everybody comes back for a lecture. And last year, our Fast-a-thon speaker was Sheikh Shafayat. I'm sure everybody knows Sheikh Shafayat.
Yes,
and he did a wonderful job,
popular.
mashallah. And everyone was very moved at the Fast-a-thon. And then everybody had dinner, and everybody mingled with each other. We had dawah materials that we passed out to everybody. And it was a wonderful night. It was great, and everyone enjoyed it. And we had some of the non-Muslims come up and talk about their fast experience.
How they felt.
How
that
they
must have
felt.
been really interesting.
Yeah. And everyone said, "Oh my God, it was so difficult. It was so difficult.
How can you do it for 1 month,
How
right?
can we do it?" Exactly. But then they just felt really good too, so that our mission was accomplished. It was not only for us to gain money for charity; it was also to spread, to do dawah and spread awareness of Ramadan.
Yeah, there's so many purposes involved, around that.
Exactly.
Fast-a-thon. I'm just curious, how did that idea originate?
I'm not exactly sure, but I know many years back it was started at one university, and it just spread from there. And now I think every university, every M.S.A. that exists in the nation, does a Fast-a-thon.
The Fast-a-thon is really a fantastic idea, and I hope that it keeps growing, and it's
Inshallah.
something that will get even bigger as the years, go by. And is there any other activities that you want to highlight for us? Because I know M.S.A. has been extremely active and it's sort of in the forefront of keeping the Muslim students together on campus.
We actually, in October, that just passed, we had an inter-M.S.A. conference. And what we did was we had personal invites, and we sent them out to very active people in the community. And we had about 95 to 100 people show up to our conference.
And that's students from other campuses?
Other
from
campuses,
schools.
and
Okay.
not just students, but community leaders. For example, we had representatives from CARE, we had representatives from Project
really?
Downtown, representatives from Emerge USA, which is a political organization. And they all came, they set up tables, they had their materials to give out, and they spoke also. We had a nice lineup for everybody. And for that conference, we had made a video to show there. And what we did was we went around campus, and we just randomly approached non-Muslim students, and we asked them questions. What's the first thing you hear? What's the first thing you think of when you hear the word Muslim? Or and just questions like, would you have any Muslim friends? Or what do you know about the religion? Just random questions like that. And we made a 9 to 10 minute video, and it was a wonderful video. And we showed it at the conference and had a discussion about it. And everyone talked about how it's so shocking that our own peers have such negative images, negative thoughts of us, because they do.
Our own, that's true.
They do. And through that video, we were able to see their images. And so at the conference, when everybody was together, we all talked about it, and we discussed ideas for future events that we could do together, so that we can, do more dawah and try to hopefully eliminate that image that we have in the community.
So M.S.A. at FIU took the initiative to get all these organizations and clubs to come together so they can work. Because, in other interviews we've had, other guests that I've had in the past, coming together seemed to be the key, us working together as a community and being able to work and being tolerant to each other's differences and get beyond that and sort of say, hey, let's look past our differences and there's work to be done, let's just get down and
it was
get
very
the job
successful,
done.
alhamdulillah. Everyone, we had representatives from Nova, FIU, I believe FAU also showed up. And everyone just came together, and it wasn't small, but it wasn't large either. It was just good enough for everyone to network and meet each other. And everyone enjoyed it. There was a lot of great feedback, and we came with a lot of great ideas. And inshallah, hopefully we'll
act on some of those ideas,
carry them out.
So it's bringing them all together. So it's not like FIU competing against FAU or or Nova. So it's not a competition against organizations. It's coming together, and that's very important for our students to remember, because I know in the past it's been a competitive thing. Which organization is better, and I can outdo you with the best, the better event. And it's really important for them to realize that coming together at this level is really important because there's so much work to do. You don't have enough people to get it done. So that's really, I'm glad that you were able to do that. Is there anything else that you would like to mention in terms of events that you've had in the past? Seem to be very inspiring, most of these events.
Yes, we've had a lot of events actually. Some of the smaller scale events that we have are movie nights. We do them, once a semester. We have a movie night. We show, we actually just had one on Wednesday that just passed, and we showed. It was from the Unity Productions Foundation, and they came out with a documentary called "Talking Through Walls," and that was about a story of a man named Zia Rahman, and he was trying to build a mosque in his community in South Jersey right after 9/11, and it showed his struggle and what he went through and all the backlash that he was given. So we showed that just recently, and that was a great turnout too, and everyone had a great time. So we do smaller scale events like that also. We even try to do halakas.
How successful that has been? I know that usually takes a little bit of work to
It
get
does.
off the ground.
It does. It wasn't successful before, but that's also because there was no initiative for it, because there were so many other events. But actually, we just discussed at our last meeting, we're going to have weekly halakas now. So it's going to be very small, though. It's like a few girls get together on their own, a few brothers get together on their own, and they just talk. And we actually started already. After Jummah prayer, like a lot of the brothers, they just stay back and they just talk. And it's very inspiring to see that, people at the college level are very interested in their deen. Yeah. So we're going to try to build on that and make it on a bigger scale and do it every week.
I mean, after hearing all these events, I wish I was a student again at FIU. I want to go back to college because there's so much that's going on. I mean, it's really inspiring and motivating for our young people out there to take advantage of these opportunities that they have.
Because the students have a lot of power. I believe they have the most power, the students, to be able to make a difference. Because we are at that point where we can influence and we can make an impact on our community. And we have the resources available and all the help. So I think that's very important for us to take advantage of this time and this opportunity.
So that awareness is very important.
Yes.
At this point, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Tune in for Friday Khutbah at 1:30 p.m., broadcasting live from Darul Uloom Institute, Pembroke Pines, Florida, on Al-Hikmat TV online.
Be careful if you make a woman cry, because God counts her tears. The woman came out of the man's ribs, not from his feet to be walked on, not from his head to be superior, but from his side to be equal, under the arm to be protected, and near the heart to be loved. So would you like to find your long-lost love, announce your engagement, perhaps find a husband or wife right from your very own home?
It is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Just advertise with us, AL-HIKMATLIVE.com. We are an internationally known Islamic website and we are here for you. For your viewing pleasure, just click www.alhikmatlive.com.
Our mission is to spread the knowledge of Islam and entertain our millions of viewers in ways that are pleasing to Allah. Please join us every Friday at 1:30 p.m. for live khutbahs sermons led by Sheikh Shafai Muhammad from Darul Uloom, Pembroke Pines, Florida. Commemorate a loved one on Al-Hikmat Weekly Highlights every Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. Learn more about Islam, the women of Islam, interfaith, and ways to enjoin good and forbid evil.
www.alhikmatlive.com. We do it all. Record it, broadcast it, voice it throughout the world.
All you have to do is watch us, advertise with us, and tell a friend. For more information, please call Al-Hikmat at 954-986-0158 or toll free at 1-800-804-0267.
Or click www.alhikmatlive.com.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. If you're now joining us, my guest today is Sister Sarah Usman, who is the president of the Muslim Student Association at Florida International University. We left off talking to Sarah about some of the past events that M.S.A. has been conducting on campus. Sarah, is there anything else you would like to highlight in terms of some of the things that you have done in the past?
Yeah, there's actually a couple of events. We did a Thanksgiving event last year also. What we did was we had a speaker come and talk about the importance of giving thanks in Islam so that we can show non-Muslims the relation, that we also have this concept in our religion. And at the same time, what we did was we made bags. So we had everybody come up and make, it was a brown paper bag, and we had things like soap and socks and razors, toothbrushes, and we had them all laid down. And everyone came and they put one of each thing in the bag, and then they personalized the bag. And then the immediate Saturday after, we went to Project Downtown in Fort Lauderdale, and we delivered those bags.
Like little care packages, really
like little
nice.
Right, like gift bags, kind of. So that was one of our very successful events. Everyone has.
Was that the first time you did something like that?
That was the first time we did something like that, and everyone tells us
idea
to do it again, and it was wonderful. It was creative and it was very different, so everyone enjoyed it. And also every year we get a few students to go to the East Zone Conference for M.S.A. National, and it's in a different state each year. And it's very important that we do this because nobody else, no other university that I've seen so far in our area does that, where they fund students to go on the conference. And when we go to this 3-day conference, there's so much that we learn, not just about our dean, but about getting involved and how to get our members involved.
And that's the important part.
Right. So we are, not only are we involved within our university, but also on a national level with other MSAs from across the East Coast.
That's fantastic because it gives you the opportunity to see what goes on outside,
right.
Outside Florida, because we're here in our little community, and it's really good to know what's going on outside and the rest of the world.
And you
how
do learn a lot. It's
involved.
very different up there, I
can imagine. It must be, an eye-opening experience for the students who go.
So we're preparing now to go again.
And that's sponsored by M.S.A. or the community?
M.S.A.
M.S.A.
We try to get FIU to sponsor the money, and as much as we can, and whatever's left over, we try to pay out on our own. But it's a great experience, so it's worth every penny.
Tell us some of the future plans that you have. We talked a lot about the past. What's some of the future things that you envision M.S.A. doing?
Some of the future things that I hope M.S.A. accomplishes are to become more active within the school. I mean, we are active, but to have an even larger name within the school so that everyone knows exactly who we are, and we can provide events that are, very large scale with 500, 600 people like the other organizations are able to do. We were trying to get a prayer room on campus, a permanent prayer room. We've done a lot so far to try and obtain a prayer room. We haven't been so successful because there's no space on campus, according to the student affairs at FIU. But we signed a petition, we went to the vice president of student affairs, and we're still in the process of trying to get a prayer room. We're talking to SGA. So that's something that we've been trying to do, and we are very adamant about, and we want.
And that'll be a great accomplishment if you can get that.
Yes, that would be a milestone for us. So we are, inshallah, that goes well, and we do get a prayer room. Another thing that we do, it's not a future event, it's future and past, is the graduation cords that we provide. So that students that are very active in our MSA, we give them a green cord to wear at graduation. And we're hoping
so you have your own little graduation ceremony for the Muslim students.
It's not really a ceremony, but we give it to them and we honor them. Yeah, we honor them, nice. And then they get to wear that cord at their graduation.
So the green cord represents, so it's something that's official, like you have the cord for the Honor Society, you have one for M.S.A.
We get it approved from FIU, and we are able to give the students that.
And how long has this been in existence? I like that idea.
A few years, not too long, 2 or 3 years.
Was this initiated before you came on board?
I believe so. I think it was initiated right before I came on board.
That's great, and I'm glad you're able to continue that, and something I'm sure the students who are graduating look forward to.
We're trying to increase the amount of cords that we give out, so in the future I do hope that...
So do you have to be a member of M.S.A. to get that cord, or is it work with hours?
It's hours. You have to obtain 30 hours. You need to have 30 hours with M.S.A., not just strictly with M.S.A., 30 hours, and you get that cord.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, that's great. Anything else? Any last-minute advice you'd like to give to our students out there?
I'd just like to say, make sure you get involved. It's a great experience. It's going to teach you a lot, and don't have the idea that it's only for your resume, or it's just a temporary thing. It's going to go with you your entire life, and it's going to help you and only you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you on our guest today.
Thank you.
With me has been Sarah Usman, the president of the Muslim Student Association at Florida International University. And tune in again. Please join me again next week for another edition of Who's Who in America in Your Community. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.